Welcome to the Mystic's Garden, where power and beauty are reclaimed. Together, we'll explore discernment, healing, and the deeper transformations that return us to what is sacred. I'm Ellen Laura, and this podcast is for those of you who've known moments or even a whole season of deep inner peace, subtle joy, wonder, and mental clarity. And now you find these experiences fleeting, fragile, or harder to access. I'm honored that you're here with me to explore the deeper questions about what is sacred. Because I know what it feels like to lose access to those precious moments. And I also know how easy it is to become discouraged and turn it in on yourself. I'm here to ask you not to do that. What you're looking for is a balance between effort and grace and a way back to your own inner authority. And there is a golden thread to lead you there. Over the years, I've worked closely with many people who have lost something essential: love, health, trust, belonging, the life they thought they were living. And I've noticed a pattern. I've noticed how some people move forward while others remained stalled in an endless loop where insights fail to lead to renewal. The people who begin to replenish what was lost don't rush to reinvent themselves. They don't immediately fling themselves into a costly new program, a dramatic spiritual retreat, a grand solution, or a dazzling promise of transformation. They follow a golden thread of shimmering light. If that sounds poetic, let me reframe that for you into something practical. Those who move forward become very protective of their time, money, physical vitality, and the small flame of passion still flickering in their hearts. They don't romanticize every hard season, because sometimes what feels like a crisis of the soul turns out to be exhaustion, hormonal change, or a body quietly asking for better care. I say this with honesty, having more than once mistaken my own poor nutrition and too little movement for a metaphysical catastrophe. Still, something real can be at stake during times of transition. If you've known real wonder, stillness, inner clarity, then losing access to it doesn't feel minor. It's not like losing your car keys. It's like waking up in a world where the birds aren't singing and the sky is gray. That may be one reason the mystic matters now more than ever. Not the Instagram mystic, not the scented brand mystic. I mean the real one. A mystic is one who moves into the unseen worlds and returns with a deeper connection to the divine. She listens deeply, opens her heart, and sometimes she asks very provocative questions. Who is in your bedroom? Who is in your kitchen? And what's on your altar? I know this because through my study of archetypes and decades of deep spiritual contemplation, it has become obvious what the mystic means to me and to the world. I believe that's part of why you're here too. Maybe your life has been marked by strange inner knowings, quiet warnings, symbols, and dreams. A sense that something in you notices more than the visible world ever admits. You're also here because you're someone with enough spiritual maturity to understand what this means moving forward. Your sensitivity isn't decorative. It can deepen your joy, but it can also sharpen sorrow. To live closely to wonder is also to live closely to suffering, ambiguity, and the ache of being human. And if you've ever wondered why this way of being doesn't promise an easy life, I know something about that. Some of you may have read my memoir, Love in the Shadow of Saigon. So you already know that the man who was supposed to be in my bedroom, he was in a cemetery. The kitchen of my home was filled with well-meaning family members who weren't equipped to deal with my descent into despair. And as a 19-year-old widow, my altar was shimmering with a vision I could not understand. At the time, my life force crashed to zero. For some of you, it may be a slower erosion of vitality over months or years. Sometimes we're taken down by shock, grief, or a blow we didn't see coming, because not every season of loss is a slow wintering. Each of our lives is unique. So when I ask certain questions, I'm not reaching for poetic effect. I'm asking because those questions became real in my life long before I had the language to understand what was happening. And this could be true for you too. These questions are about access, nourishment, and devotion. If you want to know how to invite more joy and peace into your life, these questions may offer answers. And because these aren't ordinary questions, I decided to pose them to myself first. Not because I have perfect answers, but because I know how healing it can be once we hear what our own soul has been trying to tell us. First is the bedroom. I love my bedroom because it feels tranquil and it reflects my love of beauty. At night, I lie down on the warmth of the amethyst biomat, and Bella, my cat, is usually nearby purring. There's no longer a man in my bed, and for this season of my life, that feels right. There's peace in that. Then I step into the kitchen and the mood changes. Here I feel bewildered, or maybe just weary. Another day wondering what I'm going to eat. I've never really liked cooking, even though I've somehow managed to eat healthy most of my life. And lately, this feels so much harder. Why don't I love my kitchen? It's pretty enough. Is it because my early feelings about food are so closely tied to family? And now I live alone. I'm curious about those of you who are also single and how you feel inside of your kitchen. And if I'm honest, it isn't only food that's not nourishing me. What I've been taking in from the media and the outside world, that also needs refinement. And then there's the altar. That's the hardest one for me to speak about because it matters the most. If I lose my connection to the divine, to what is sacred, that's unimaginable to me. I cannot let that happen. So these questions aren't about perfection, not in my life and not in yours. They're about noticing and about telling the truth, about seeing where something is already nourishing you, where something needs to change, and where something sacred may be asking to be protected, and mostly seeing where love is still alive. Your bedroom is about more than sex and partnership. It's about who has access to your tenderness, your grief, your body, and your vulnerability. And the kitchen, it's about more than meals. It tells the truth about what you consume, what you tolerate, and the emotional tone around you. It's about the habits that either strengthen us or quietly drain our life force. And the altar reveals what is central, what you bow to, what you return to in love. What gets your loyalty? What gets your best attention? And that's why discernment matters so much when approaching the sacred. A person can look spiritual and be deeply disconnected. And someone can sound broken and be closer to the truth than they've been in years. And this is why the image of a garden fits this podcast perfectly. A garden isn't merely a place of beauty. It is that. But it's also a reminder of the skill and care it takes to keep what is precious alive. A damaged garden isn't restored by adding exotic plants. If the soil has been scorched, neglected, overrun, or starved, you don't begin with decoration. You begin with protection. You look at what is still alive. You water what hasn't dried. You stop whatever keeps draining the ground. You make sure nothing more destructive is getting through the gate. That's true for a garden, and it's true for our lives. And that's why I'm going to repeat this again. Protect your time, your money, your physical vitality, and the flame that is still burning in your heart. Because if something in you has gone dim, I'm not inviting you into melodrama. I'm inviting you to search for the places where love is still alive, and to move forward with a steady, gentle rhythm as you see clearly who has access to your life and what is feeding you. This is something your body has known for a long time, and what your soul may be tired of pretending not to know. This kind of honesty prepares the heart to fully open and cross the next threshold. We often imagine renewal and initiation as something luminous. You arrive dressed in white, carrying flowers, ready to enter the ethereal realms. And sometimes initiation does come this way. But there's another kind of initiation. It begins with what has been hidden and can no longer stay silent. That kind of initiation isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it looks almost ordinary. So instead of waiting for your garden to burst into radiant color, I'm encouraging you to care for the sensitivity that's living inside of you. If you're someone who has felt too sensitive, too porous, and deeply affected by the world, let me say this plainly. Sensitivity is not the problem. It's unprotected sensitivity that can exhaust you. Manipulated sensitivity wounds you, but sensitivity is not the enemy. It may be one of the ways you know what is true. It may be part of why beauty matters so much to you, why noise wears you down. Some places restore while others leave you depleted, why some people leave you uplifted and others leave you drained. That kind of knowing deserves respect, because once you accept that your life is not shaped only by what you believe, it's also shaped by what has access to your tenderness and how you begin to reclaim your power. Your choices grow quieter but sharper. In the episodes ahead, we'll keep walking deeper into the garden. We'll explore those questions until they carry you forward into a way of being that honors your body, mind, and spirit. And if you'd like to share your answers here with me, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. The next episode will arrive on May 1 at the full moon, and I'd love for you to join me. For now, take several deep breaths and fill yourself with loving kindness. Together, let's ask, please don't let the good things vanish. Allow what is true to grow clear. Guide us to protect the small living flame of peace, joy, and mental clarity until it steadies and brightens again. Thank you so much for listening and being present here. Until next time, protect what is precious in yourself and each other and in this world.